everyone, it's Jenny, and today I'm sharing my pop-up box card using some Digis stamps from Kinda Cute Digital Stamps. And I'm going to be using the Lawn Fawn Shadow Box add-on, as well as the scalloped pop-up box die. So I'm going to start by cutting out these wave inserts from some blue cardstock. And then I'm also going to cut out a bunch of these seaweed and shells and starfish from white cardstock a couple of times. So I'm going to color these in with Copic markers, and I thought the easiest way to do that was to leave them in the paper I cut them out from and just tack them down with a little washi tape while I color. Once I have all of them colored, I'm going to go ahead and pop them out and then touch up any white spots that I might have missed. So back to the inserts, I'm going to do some ink blending on the edge with some Faded Jeans Distress Oxide. Next, I'm going to cut a small panel using this die as a reference for the back of the box card, and I'm going to do some more ink blending to create a little sunset with some squeezed lemonade, worn lipstick, and shaded lilac. So for the inserts, I decided I wanted to do some ink splattering. So I'm going to take the same Faded Jeans Distress Oxide and just squish it onto this acrylic block, and then flick that onto the waves and do the same thing with some Picket Fence Distress Paint. I'm going to take the scallop box die and some 110-pound cardstock to make up the actual box card. To create the window in the front of the card, I trimmed down a scrap of cardstock to 2 3/4 by 1 3/4 inches, and I tried to center that and then trace around it with an X-Acto knife. After I had the rectangle cut from the front of the card, I used a piece of acetate and some 1/8" double-sided tape to create the window. So to make sure the tab doesn't show through the window, I trimmed that down and then added some more double-sided tape and then attached the two pieces together. So there was a spot of ink on one of my waves that wasn't quite dry, and I smeared it. So I'm just going to take some of the distress paint and give it a few extra dots around it so it's not so noticeable. So before I assembled the box, I'm going to take some patterned paper and trim it down to decorate the outside. And I could have used the dies, the stitched rectangles that came with the die, but I wanted them to be a little bigger and have less of a border. And at this point, I also glued down a couple of my colored images around the window opening. I took some more of that blue cardstock because I forgot I needed to use a piece inside the box as well for the underwater part. And so I'm going to do some more ink splattering, and then I decided I was going to use the blue splattered paper on the inside of the top part of the box as well. So I glue down the sunset piece and fold in the tabs on the inserts, and then I splatter up the rest of the blue cardstock. Once all my pieces are dry, I trim them down to fit on the flaps and then glue them into place. To make the acetate inserts, I use the wave inserts as a template for the length, and then I trim the strips about a ½ inch tall and measure in a ¼ inch from each end and score them. So before I close over the other side of the box, this is where I'm going to line up all the inserts, and I'm going to put the acetate ones towards the bottom of the box so that they can be seen through the window, and then for the waves, I'm only going to glue them on like a ¼ inch up from the bottom so that they stick out, but you can't see them through the window. So I have double-sided tape on the acetate inserts, and then I add a dotted glue to the other side of the waves, and then I fold the box over on top so that when I open it up, they're all lined up. So I hadn't added double-sided tape to the final tab to close the box because I wanted that last blue panel to go over the tab, but I just closed the box and then end up sticking that up through the bottom and tacking it down to the back. I'm gonna add some liquid glue to the back of my little swimmer girl and tack her down to the waves, and I'm gonna make sure that you can see her little feeties through the window. I was starting to arrange the rest of my colored images when I realized I didn't have a bottom to my lake or ocean, so I pulled out a scrap of cream colored cardstock, and I'm going to do the same ink splattering I did before, but this time use frayed burlap. Once my sand piece is dry, I'm going to trim it down so it lines up with the blue water panel on the inside of the card. So to attach the rest of my colored images to the card, I'm going to use a lot of mini glue dots and attach different fish to the acetate inserts and add some seaweed and shells and starfish. For the sentiment, I'm going to use a stamp from Lawn Fawn's Fantastic Friends that says Best Fishes, and I'm going to stamp that down with some VersaFine Clear ink, and next time I'll remember to do that before I glue down the panel to the card. So I think it ended up stamping out pretty good. I only had to touch it up a little bit with a micron pen, but it looks good to me. So now I'm going to add a couple more fish and a seashell around the sentiment, and that's my card. I hope you enjoyed my video, and as always, any extra information and measurements can be found on my blog at cutiepatootiecrafts.com. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.